The Complete Tan and J-Man Show is back for the first time in 3 weeks. It was post or pre-Super Bowl last time we were on the show together on this 70-degree February day. Could not ask for a better February day, but I know the bad days are still ahead. But I'll take 70 degrees. Have you gotten out the golf clubs yet and started swinging?
They're out of my car, but I have not swung. They are in the garage now, so getting closer.
You need to, like, I don't know, take like a Ring camera or your tripod out, or have your wife video you your first swing of the season.
Probably pull something on my back. Yeah, but no, she needs. I need to have her go out with me and record me when I hit my first ball of the season. That'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
probably wouldn't go so well. But
yeah,
never know. But it's good to be back, J-Man. I missed having you on 2 weeks ago when I hosted, and then I missed last week. But thanks to our good friend and my co-host of the Boiler Breakdown podcast, Evan Webb, for filling in. I thought you guys did a real good job, and that was an entertaining podcast last week.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job. So shout out to the Web Dog.
Yep. You guys were fun. Besides the mishap in the intro, but that happens to all of us.
That's why I called you the boss man. So
I did it with one of my other podcasts just the week before that. So completely was going through my spiel, and then they're like, "Are we live?" I'm like, "We're not."
I hit the button thinking that was going to do the intro. I just stared at the camera for 5 seconds till I realized what I'd actually done. So
happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us. But I do have some birdie or bogey for you this evening. It's a pretty straightforward question. I want to know, what active MLB player is the oldest player to win Rookie of the Year?
Active.
So what player still in the league won the
Rookie
Rookie of the Year the longest ago, I guess? I don't know.
The longest ago or the oldest player?
Here's how it was worded. Who's the oldest Rookie of the Year winner still playing Major League Baseball?
Who's the oldest? Okay.
That's probably worded better. I tried to word it more properly, but I think I screwed it up. So,
all right. Don't have a guess, but
well, you should by the end of the pod. That's all that matters.
We'll see. Birdie or Bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House. Arlington Public House has upscale cuisine and cocktails with a casual atmosphere, located 703 Main Street in Rochester, Indiana. Tonight is pizza night. Dill pickle pizza. This twist on pizza features a garlic parmesan base topped with chopped dill pickle, bacon, mozzarella, and Parmesan cheeses. Call and order to go.
I love myself some pizza.
I do too. Big fan of the Za. What's your favorite pizza place in Fort Wayne?
Probably a place. Well, it's a place that's split owners now. 3 Fires, 800 Degrees. So one of those two, even though they're the exact same pizza pretty much. So
gotcha.
They used to be all in one, split. So now they have 2 different
ads.
locations, 2 different names, but yeah, no free ads.
No
but
free ads.
I know you're a big fan of the meats pizza. So wherever you can get a good meat pizza, right up your alley.
Big fan of the meats. Shout out Aurelio's here in New Lenox, Illinois. It's my top. It's my top dog.
That's the one we had at your bachelor party?
It is. It is. Yeah.
Multiple times. We had it multiple times.
Yeah, back-to-back nights. That's when I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a true Chicagoan. Not that I live in Chicago. I live about 25-ish miles outside the city. That I more like the tavern style pizza than the deep dish.
So. I'm not a big deep dish guy. No. There's a famous place in Fort Wayne called Ollie's who they do. I mean, their deep dish is good, but I just don't like getting full off 1 or 2 pieces of pizza.
Yeah,
give me more. I like the more thin style.
I like the little squares.
No, those good too. Like the St. Louis style, the cracker type pieces. No.
Hate St. Louis style pizza.
Oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about then.
Just the squares like Pizza King,
That's what I thought St. Louis style was.
No, St. Louis style is the crust, which is a cracker-ish crust.
Okay.
Has nothing to do
Well,
with race. But
I should know better than to get into pizza arguments with you. So
that's fair. That's fair.
that's. But what a way to start the show, getting down a pizza rabbit hole. I love it. I love it. I love it. But why don't we start off with some baseball talk? Haven't done
Yes.
that in a while.
Yeah.
Spring training is
Is
underway,
underway.
and
Yeah.
your favorite team, the Chicago Cubs, were in the headlines over the weekend.
Finally, Cody Bellinger finally signed with a team, and it happened to be the Chicago Cubs with a very team-friendly deal. I don't think he had too many other suitors out there. And once again, Scott Boras kind of hurts his client, thinking his market's going to be a lot better than it actually is. I mean, there are reports he was wanting $250 million, $200 million. And no team was going to give him that. He had a fantastic year last year. He's one of just 4 players to hit over 300 with 20 homers, 20 steals, along with Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna Jr., and I can't remember the last guy, the other guy who did it. But pretty good company there. His batted ball data is not that great, which is probably what scared some teams off. His soft contact was up. His exit velocity was down. However, he cut his strikeout rate down by 12%. And obviously he was super productive while doing that. So I think his adjustments he made will continue to take hold, and they absolutely had to get it done. There was a major void in the middle of that lineup without Cody Bellinger, and now he's back. So after looking like a very disappointing offseason, it turned out to be a pretty good offseason for the Cubs, and it really was dependent on Cody Bellinger the entire time, and now they are the betting favorite to win the NL Central this year, because the NL Central is pretty bad, to be honest. So good thing they got it done. 3-year deal worth $80 million. He has an opt-out after year 1 and year 2. So if he has a great year this year, he can opt out. And I hope that happens. That means they had a great year, and the Cubs probably did pretty well. So off season's coming to a close. I would say the Cubs probably aren't in the market for another big name. There are a few out there that they've been mentioned with. Matt Chapman being one, third baseman, JD Martinez, who could DH for you. But Cody Bellinger, Shota Imanaga, pitcher from Japan, Hector Neris in the bullpen, Michael Busch trade with the Dodgers. So, yeah, pretty good offseason after all the flack that I was giving Jed Hoyer, and the majority of the Cubs fan base was giving Jed Hoyer. Jed likes to work in silence. I mean, we saw that with the Craig Counsell deal. And Craig Counsell, you got to throw him into that offseason too. He's a massive upgrade over David Ross. Even just hearing some of his comments so far in the first few days of camp, it's a breath of fresh air having Counsell there. As much as I hated him in Milwaukee, I'm glad he's on my side now. So I'm already sick of spring training, and we're only 4 days in, 4 games in, so ready for the season to start. But got about a month until that happens. So, yeah, feeling pretty good about the direction.
Well, that's probably a good thing, considering one of your 24 bold predictions for 2024 was the Cubs finishing last in NL Central. So.
Yeah, that was a very grumpy J-man who
I'm on the right day.
Who was caught me on the right or wrong day.
Right or wrong day, yeah.
However you want to describe it, but it feels like baseball weather out, as I said, but we're still in the stretch run of the college basketball season. Yep. For like the past 2 weeks, I thought this was the final week of the season, and then I realized, the Big Ten tournament is not for another 2 weeks. For some reason, I thought it was March 6th through the 10th, but got 2 more weeks.
Yeah, it's winding down. The college basketball season is, but like you said, baseball, it's feeling like spring out, and spring training has begun. I was in Florida last week, and of course, a lot of teams play down there in the Grapefruit League. So it was interesting. Visited a couple areas where certain teams are located for spring training. It's just kind of cool to see those communities have, marketing banners out for the team and different things. I was wondering, I wonder how much revenue these teams bring into some of these communities. Probably not as much as they used to at one time,
right?
But still probably pretty significant.
Yeah, and especially it coincides with spring break, so that helps as well.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Florida is a lot of teams are moving out of Florida and going to Arizona
Right.
We've
Right.
seen that with the Dodgers and a couple other teams, and there's not too many teams left. So I don't know what that is. The weather's better in Arizona. You don't have to deal with rain like you do in Florida, but I'm sure it helps those towns out quite a bit. I mean, we always heard about Dodger Town, which I think was Vero Beach. Of course, they're in Arizona now, so that hurts them. But
Yep.
the Mets are still down there. Red Sox, Yankees.
Yep. Yankees are in Tampa. We spent a good majority of one day in Dunedin, where the Toronto Blue Jays play.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool, walking around there and seeing Vlad Guerrero Jr. stuff all over, and a few. And it was funny because right when we got to Dunedin, I didn't realize the Blue Jays played there. I just was oblivious, and I'm like, before I saw the banners and everything, I'm like, why am I seeing cars with Buffalo Bills stuff all over it? Then I saw the Blue Jays. I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
I tell you, I've been to spring training in Mesa, Arizona twice, and it has been, I think, my favorite vacations of my entire life.
Yeah.
So it's a good time. My dad and I went to 3 or 4 games. My mom and sister hung at the pool, and it was the best of both worlds.
I used to go to quite a few spring training games, elementary school and middle school, when we used to go to Florida every year for spring break. I think I saw the Yankees in Tampa, saw the Rays at that time in St. Pete. They've moved their spring training elsewhere since. Saw the Phillies in Clearwater, saw the Reds in Sarasota. I think I'm forgetting. I don't think I ever saw the Tigers in Lakeland, but I might have. I think I saw Tigers at Phillies in Clearwater, but yeah. Nonetheless, baseball season will be here before we know it.
Yeah.
Regular season, but as you said, we got a lot of meaningful college basketball still going on. So let's jump right into some college hoops talk. Man, it's like we said earlier, it's been 3 weeks since you and I have done a podcast together, and a lot has changed.
Yeah.
Around the world of college basketball and in the Big Ten. I mean, Purdue's played 4 games since I did my last episode of the Tana J Man show, and they went 3-1 in those games, getting upset at Ohio State, who starting to make a little story for themselves all of a sudden in the late. Not that they're going to make the NCAA tournament or even the NIT probably, but interesting what the Buckeyes have been doing lately.
Yeah. I mean, they played well against Purdue, and then going on the road yesterday and hitting a buzzer beater in Michigan State. I didn't watch that until about the final 30 seconds. I kept checking my clock. Michigan State up 8, Michigan State up 6. Then all of a sudden I see it's a 3-point game and I have to go turn it on. And Michigan State's starting to free fall a little bit. I mean, that's 2 home losses in a week. When's the last time that's happened for Michigan?
It's been a while.
But Jake Diebler doing a heck of a job there, keeping the team together for one, especially after firing Chris Holtman. And he's making a case maybe not to take the Ohio State job, but maybe a mid-major or low-major will come calling, seeing the work he's done.
I know his alma mater, Valparaiso, only has 6 wins this year.
Terrible.
So I don't know.
It's Roger Powell's first year there. So
okay, I was just going to say I don't know who the coach is or anything. So
yeah, he lost Cricky, who's at Iowa, and lost a few other transfers. So he's just trying to rebuild there. Of course, Roger Powell was an assistant under Bryce Drew, but yeah,
it's going to be tough though in the world of NIL for a lot of these teams to turn it around without losing guys. So,
especially at that level.
But I do have a quick trivia question for you, and this comes from my wife. She asked me last night. I didn't know the answer. I actually got it wrong. I had to look it up. Who is the only winless team in college basketball?
I just saw this the other day. Detroit just beat IUPUI. They were winless a week or 2 ago.
Correct.
I literally just saw this. Isn't it like Texas of Arlington or something like that?
I don't think they have many, but they're not the team that's winless.
It's gonna make me mad when I hear it.
Mississippi Valley State.
Yep, that makes me mad.
Jerry Rice alma mater.
Yep. Yeah, it's I mean, you look at the low majors; it's tough to win these days. But then you look at a team like McNeese State, who I believe Will Wade's there. Heck of a basketball coach. I think they only have 2 or 3 losses. So
yep. So it's been a crazy basketball season. Going back to Big Ten talk, Purdue's got some cushion in the Big Ten now, thanks to Penn State's upset over Illinois, away from the Bryce Jordan Center, which was weird. I mean, we've seen him play in the in other gyms before, but I don't ever remember seeing them play in that little gym.
Yeah, after they haven't played there since they played a non-conference game there in 2015. That was their first Big Ten game there since January of '96. And Brad Underwood said it was the loudest venue they've played in this year, including Mackey Arena, which is crazy.
Sure.
But
Sure.
not fair. I'm gonna say it. That ain't fair. Now they were up 10 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, up 7 with the ball with 40 seconds left.
Yeah.
So
yeah, good. Yeah, Purdue had to do that at Penn State last. Not that tiny of arena, but the Palestra.
Oh
That's where Purdue had
yeah.
to play them last year. So I think the Penn State's going to start doing that.
They should
once a year for one of their bigger games.
Honestly, tear Bryce Jordan down and just play there. I think they'd have fan support, and it was a cool little gym. Obviously, very loud. I think the shooting background was tough, even though I say that. And Penn State scored 90 and Illinois 89, but both teams missed a ton of free throws. It was a cool atmosphere. I mean, I knew Penn State would punch them in the mouth. Was not anticipating Illinois blowing a 10-point lead, but they did that same exact thing against Nebraska. They just found a way to force overtime and win.
Yeah.
So they've had issues closing the game. Every time Coleman Hawkins starts talking trash on Twitter, he plays the worst game of his season, which is what he did at Penn State, where he scored 9 points, turned it over 5 times, missed 2 free throws. He's an 82% free throw shooter.
Yeah.
Missed 2 free throws with 19 seconds left when they were up 2, and then fouled the 3-point shooter, which cost him the game. So it was probably the worst game he played since probably his sophomore year. Then he followed it up with a 30-burger, and he had 5 assists, 5 rebounds, a couple blocks against Iowa. So he followed it up pretty well. But every single time he gets on Twitter, he has the worst game, and they end up losing. So I think he might have deleted Twitter. He said he deleted some apps after the Penn State game, which he should.
I maybe shot him. I maybe shot him a tweet after the
Penn State game. No, I saw it.
I couldn't help myself.
He's become a villain for a couple.
He really has. He really has.
Yeah, for a guy that this is the first year. Now it's a testament to player development and sticking around, because I mean he was on that loaded 2020-2021 team. He played about every game except one. Didn't play many minutes though. Stuck it out. Became a decent piece the next year, then became a 30-minute a game guy last year. Now he's become a really, really good Big Ten basketball player. So he's one of the few that stuck around for 4 years, especially a guy who's from California, and his family still lives out there. So it's been pretty cool to see his development. But he's definitely he's made Purdue fans mad, Indiana fans hate him, Maryland fans hate him now. So there've been
Maryland fans hate everybody.
That's a good point.
They do.
They were so mad at him after Illinois went in there and won. Did you see what he did? I'm sure you did.
Mm-hmm.
So Maryland, it was free T-shirt day. So a bunch of people showed up, got a free Maryland T-shirt and all that. And after the game, after they won, Hawkins said, "Yeah, there's usually like 1,000 people in here." And they gave away the free T-shirts, and now it's a sellout. And you can clearly see under his zip up that he had one of the T-shirts on. And then he was on the team plane, and somebody videoed him wearing the shirt, and he was going like that. So that made a lot of Maryland fans mad. I don't feel bad for Maryland fans, because Maryland fans were throwing pieces of fried chicken at the Illinois bench. So they got what was coming to them.
They're a pretty mean fan base.
Yeah.
They really are.
Fan base that doesn't really show up until there's a big game.
Looking at the Big Ten standings right now, Purdue is leading the way, 14-3 in the conference. They can wrap up a tie, at least a share of the Big Ten, by beating Michigan State at home Saturday night. And then next week they travel to Champaign and host Wisconsin on Senior Day. Illinois is 2 games back at 11-5. Then Northwestern and Wisconsin are tied record-wise, but Northwestern has the tiebreaker there, it looks like, at 10-6. Nebraska's in 5th place, 10-7. Then Michigan State is in 6th at 9-8. Minnesota 7th at 8-8. Iowa 8th at 8-9. Penn State 9th at 8-9. Maryland 10th at 7-10. Indiana 11th at 6-10. Rutgers 13th, 6-10. Rutgers 12th, excuse me. Ohio State 13th at 6-11. And Michigan does at the very bottom, 3-14.
No Michigan.
Yep. So if the season ended today, the 4 teams with double bye would be Purdue, Illinois, Northwestern, and Wisconsin. It's pretty crazy. You know, the Big Ten tournament did not happen in 2020, but Purdue was not going to have the double bye. They were the 10th seed, I believe, that year, going to play the 7th seeded Ohio State Buckeyes, if I remember correctly. But every other year, they have got the double bye since it became a thing.
It's crazy. When did it become a thing?
I think it's been going for 10 years.
Oh man!
So,
every other year,
I think 2015 would have been the start of it, I guess. So,
Okay.
yeah, they've. I mean, but once again, for Purdue, it comes down to March. That's what it is, and that's a testimony to it right there, because they've been as good can be in the regular season most years, but just gotta get done in March this year, and they gotta get a little sharper on defense. They struggled on defense yesterday against Michigan. Not so much against Rutgers, but Rutgers can't score against anybody.
They can't score.
But their offense has been grooving the last 2 games. It wasn't so much in Columbus, but Columbus was more of the same. Just like when they lost in Lincoln, lost in Evanston, it was turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue, if you get Purdue to turn it over 15-ish times, you got a pretty decent shot of beating them, especially if they're not hitting shots. But yesterday, Michigan, they were hitting shots. Not a high clip from 3-point range, but they were killing Michigan on the boards. And Zach Edey had 35 points, I think 15 rebounds. Once again, he is officially, which nobody thought he would be coming back, but Matt Painter was on a podcast today with John Rusting and said he is not coming back next year. I guess some people thought, you never know with NIL, but he is, because imagine if he did, and if he say he, for whatever reason, didn't want to stay at Purdue and would put his name out in the portal. Imagine how much money would be coming his way.
Oh, man.
It would have been stupid.
He'd end up at BYU like Matt Harms did.
Thank God Matt Harms did, or Zach Edey would have redshirted his freshman year.
Yeah.
So he's playing well. Braden Smith's been playing well. Guy at Purdue's got to get going is Fletcher Lawyer. He kind of hit a wall this time last year. He hit a few shots in the second half yesterday, ended up with 9 points. So it was nice to see him hit 2 jumpers in the second half. Because, he's a guy, he shoots the second highest free throw percentage on the team. He has the second most free throw attempts out of everybody on the team, which is kind of surprising. But they got to get him going. But luckily, they're deep enough that other guys can step up. I mean, Camden Heide had his career game against Rutgers, which was nice to see earlier in the week. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a way too optimistic Purdue fan, but this Purdue team just feels different than the teams of the last few years. And if I would be very surprised if they didn't get out the first weekend this year.
That would be devastating.
It would be devastating.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a lot of Purdue fans, it's going to be devastating if they don't at least make the Final Four. But you get into that second weekend when Sweet 16, you never know in any of the rounds of the tournament, but especially you get the second weekend of Sweet 16. Usually it's pretty good teams remaining. It can really be a crapshoot, but this is definitely probably Purdue's best chance since Matt Painter got there at least to get to the Final Four. So.
Would you say Final Four or bust?
Yeah, I'm right on the edge. I'd say probably. Yeah, especially if you get the 1 seed in the Midwest.
Yeah. Is there one team you're like, I do not want to play, even if they're a 1 seed?
I mean, UConn, but if that happens, it's probably in the Final Four of the championship. Right. And Houston, the new number 1 ranked team, just because of their athleticism. But athletic teams don't scare me as much as they used to with this Purdue team, because Purdue's beat Tennessee, Alabama, Arizona, some other athletic teams. Rematch against Arizona might not be that fun, especially if it's in Phoenix. But really, I would take.
Sure.
I'm tired of the Purdue fan mentality of being scared, and I just want to be confident and bring on whoever.
There's no reason not to be confident at this point. I mean, what more do they have to do to prove to you? Obviously, the lingering effects of the Fairleigh Dickinson's loss is going to hang in the back of people's minds, but. I mean, they got their entire team back. They're a year older. They didn't have this Braden Smith last year.
They didn't have Lance Jones.
Didn't have Lance Jones. I mean, Gillis is shooting 50% from 3.
Yeah.
They have decent depth. So,
the
one team that would scare me the most is probably Houston because of how good defensively they are. They could really cause some havoc and force turnovers too, as you said.
But like I said, I think if they see Houston, it's going to be in the 5-4 national championship.
Right.
And sign me up for that all day long.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
yep.
But I mean, I expect an absolute dogfight in Champaign next week. I'm not looking forward to that. Outside of Illinois, nobody else in the tournament would really scare me to run into. I mean, I know John Beeline thinks this Nebraska team could be like his 2018 Michigan team and make the championship, but I'm like, they've won like one road game there, John.
Yeah, exactly.
They get away from Pinnacle Arena, even in the NCAA tournament, they're probably not going to be the same team.
Yeah, or any neutral court, they're not going to be the same team. They are lights out at Pinnacle though. It's pretty impressive.
Oh, they are.
But yeah, they haven't won the. I mean, they did have a good road win. I don't care how bad Indiana is. Going in there and winning is tough.
It is tough.
And they blew them out too. So give them credit for that one. But their other tests against good teams have failed miserably. So
yeah, Indiana's free falling right now, really bad.
It sure feels like Woody's gone.
It does. It feels like it's maybe going in that direction. It'd be a $12.6 million buyout, which I don't know if they're still paying Archie's buyout or not. I doubt it. 3 years in, but I don't know. Tom Allen, of course, they paid his buyouts. Indiana be paid a lot of buyouts, but they got the booster money. They can do that. I don't know who they'd go after. Maybe Dusty May, but some people think the shine's worn off him a little bit.
I agree. I don't think they've been that good this year.
That's that team to me. FAU looks like a team that's ready for March Madness, and they're sleeping through the regular season, which is dangerous because they were awfully lucky to get past Memphis last year in NCAA tournament in the first round.
Yeah, and if they weren't FAU and just because they got everyone back from that Final Four team, I don't even think they'd be in the NCAA tournament. It's just the name factor at this point, which I don't think is right. I mean, they have losses to Bryant, Charlotte, UAB. So it's not like they've beaten anyone great. I mean, they had a really good neutral court win against Arizona, and that's kind of their saving grace at this point.
But I just don't know. I don't know. Like, if I'm IU fans, I don't have faith that the AD can make a good coaching hire because he keeps whiffing.
Maybe this is the time Alford gets his shot. He's done a great job at Nevada.
Would they do that, though, for back-to-back former IU players?
The thing about Alford, though, at least this guy has head coaching experience at the college level. He has 11 seasons of 20 or more wins.
Yeah.
He hasn't done great at the high major level. He's done pretty well, but he's done great in the Mountain West with New Mexico and Nevada.
He has.
And he had some decent years at Iowa, decent years at UCLA. Maybe this is the time he needs to come back.
Maybe.
I'm sure he'll get the support.
I don't know if I don't know. It's tough when you hire a legend, and he is a legend. I don't think Mike Woodson's necessarily a legend. A good IU player was in the NBA.
He played almost too long ago, which I mean, Alford played in the 80s. That was 40 years ago now. So
yeah, and that's the last time they won a championship.
The thing about Alford, though, in the state of Indiana, still has that like heightened sense of people absolutely love him.
It would have to be parents because I don't think high school kids.
No. Yeah. High school kids couldn't care less. Probably don't know who he is. But
probably not even some of their parents, probably their grandparents.
That's a good point at this point.
I mean, it's crazy to me. I was thinking about this earlier today, and I think we've talked about this before. I don't think Bob Knight, Gene Cady, Lou Henson, some of these coaches who were really good back in the day, I don't think they would do well in this day and age college basketball. Not just because of NIL, but because how our world's changed over the years. Culture's changed.
Yeah.
I don't think, and maybe that's something Indiana fans need to kind of realize is you're not going to get a Bob Knight walking through the door.
Yeah.
There's never going to be another Bob Knight.
Never going to be another Gene Cady.
No. Yeah. And it's, in kind of the last of that guard, so to speak, and a guy who's no doubt going to be on the Mount Rushmore of Big Ten coaches when it's all said and done, Tom Izzo, we're starting to see him struggle.
Absolutely. He refuses to use the transfer portal. Hates it. Refuses it. And look at his front court right now. It's terrible. Carson Cooper, and you have Sissoko and Xavier Booker, who's been terrible
Yeah, you think I hope, because this is Purdue's one and only time they play Michigan State this year. I hope he sticks with the strategy he normally does against Purdue and just goes one-on-one with Zach Edey, and I hope Zach put up 40
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Stubborn. The old guy's stubborn. And again, yeah, as we said, I mean, they came into the year ranked 4th, which we both thought was preposterous.
Yep.
To begin with. They haven't been that good. I mean, they were a play-in game in 2021 where they ended up losing to UCLA. 2022, I don't remember. Last year, they weren't that great. This year, they're not that good. And they're creeping towards the bubble. I mean, they have lost to James Madison at home. James Madison's good, but you shouldn't lose to James Madison at home. Their saving grace right now is Illinois, again, blowing a 7-point lead late and losing to them.
And they beat Baylor in a neutral site in Detroit. Killed Baylor.
That too. But yeah, they have home losses to Wisconsin, Iowa, and a bad Ohio State team. Iowa and Ohio State, neither team's going to make the NCAA tournament, and you lost to them at home.
So. Yeah, very good points. So it'll be interesting. It's just, it's going to be an interesting offseason for a lot of Big Ten teams, I think.
Oh, for sure.
And the new ones coming in.
Yeah. I saw a tweet today from an Oregon fan account. Said, which Big Ten fan base is already annoying you? And I think it was Ant Wright said, no one can prepare the Oregon fan base for the Illinois fan base. The Illinois fan base is mean. But I cannot stand Oregon, Washington, UCLA, or USC at this point. So, and Bronny James is probably going to be back. So,
I think that's fine by me. Let him come back. Let him come in the Big Ten. That's completely fine by me. But that's going to be interesting once we get into our college football talk in the fall about talking about these new Big Ten teams and then how they fit in basketball too. That's going to be wild. It'll be wild. But let's look around the Big Ten and around the country at some games. Oh, before I do that, I forgot to bring this up. So court storming. Do you like it? You against it? How do you feel about court storming?
Actually, a lot of the court storming stuff is in my pick 6. So can we wait to do that after we pick games?
Yes, we can.
I have 1, 2, 3, like 4 court storming things on there. So
all right, that's fine. Perfect. Yeah. Well, we'll start with the Big Ten. Tomorrow night we have 2 games. Wisconsin at Indiana. Wisconsin's a 4.5-point favorite.
Wisconsin's kind of free falling a little bit. However, I think Indiana has given up, and I think Wisconsin goes in there and gets it done.
I can't disagree with what you said, but for some reason, I'm taking IU in a close game. I don't know why.
I mean, I picked IU against Nebraska, so I could absolutely see it happening. Indiana's guard play is so bad, though. So
it's not good. It's not good. Penn State at Iowa. Iowa's a 7.5-point favorite.
Penn State's a dangerous team. Iowa's a dangerous team right now, too. Iowa was red hot coming into Champaign and got themselves kind of back into the conversation. Man, probably Iowa at home. Iowa shoots the ball really well at home. So give me the Hawks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Hawkeyes as well. Wednesday night, 2 games. Northwestern at Maryland.
Give me Maryland. No Ty Berry for Northwestern for the rest of the year. I just think Maryland's been playing a little better. So give me Maryland at home.
I'll take Northwestern just to differ. And then Minnesota at Illinois.
Illinois after that implosion, good mental toughness to bounce back against Iowa at home. Brad Underwood did an entire line change 2 minutes into the second half because his team settled for 4 threes, missed them all. Didn't hustle for a loose ball. Iowa got it, then gave up an offensive rebound. Put in Nico Moretti, Luke Goody, Justin Harmon, Amani Hansberry, Dane Danja, and they didn't go on a long run, but they held serve and tied Iowa during that 4-minute stretch at 8-8. And Nico Moretti stayed in the rest of the game. Hadn't hit a shot since at Michigan in early January. Had not attempted a 3-pointer all year. And he hit 2 of them, and he ended up having 9 points. So credit Illinois for sticking together, because that implosion could have spiraled the season, and I'm very glad. So Illinois has now won 20 wins for 5 straight seasons and 10 Big Ten have 10 Big Ten wins for 5 straight seasons. Underwood's only the second coach in Illinois history with 20 wins in 5 straight years. Lou Henson be the other one. But all that being said, give me Illinois.
Yeah, I'm taking Illinois at home. I think they went pretty comfortably there, but Minnesota's getting better.
Yeah.
Thursday night, Nebraska at Ohio State.
Ohio State, as we said, playing better. Nebraska needs a road win. I think Nebraska gets it done.
I'll take the Buckeyes. I know Nebraska got done in Assembly Hall last week, but I don't know. Ohio State, not like I said, I don't think it's going to mean anything in the long run, but they're playing with more confidence and they got talent, so that can be a dangerous thing. Michigan at Rutgers.
Michigan's one of the bottom, probably 5 to 10 Big Ten teams we've seen over the last 10 years, and they're playing without their big guy in Kamwa, whatever his name is. Is Doug McDaniel's suspension over? I don't care enough about Michigan to even look it up. I'm assuming
they've played 6 road games since.
So. I don't think it. Rutgers is bad too, but give me Rutgers at Jersey Mike's.
I'm taking Rutgers as well, even though they can't score. Saturday, 1:00. I'm surprised this is a Big Ten game, a Big Ten Network game. I thought it'd be a more national game. Illinois at Wisconsin.
Illinois has won 3 straight in Wisconsin. I think they make it 4. Give me the Illini.
I would take Illinois as well, but sorry, Jamin, I will be rooting pretty heavy for Wisconsin on that one because that means Purdue could wrap up the Big Ten title outright with a win Saturday night.
I prefer Purdue just wrap it up before Tuesday, to be honest.
Penn State at Minnesota.
Give me Minnesota at home.
I will take the Golden Gophers as well. Iowa at Northwestern.
Iowa can't play defense. Give me Northwestern.
I'm taking the Wildcats as well. Then 8:00 on Fox, Michigan State at Purdue.
Tickets as low as $235.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This will be the J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week. I think Purdue wins by at least 20. That's just my.
I hope you're right.
When's the last time Michigan State went in there and won? It's been years, right?
They got a little nice streak going against them, that's for sure.
Yeah. This is Michigan State's, and this is a okay Michigan State team, I guess, but it's not a Michigan State team of old with Cassius Winston and those guys. The Michigan State doesn't have the front court to get it done. Tyson Walker could keep them in it for a little while, but I just don't think they have enough. So Purdue by 20 or more. J-Man's Book Bridge of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watching for life, home, auto, business, renters, workers' comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watching@infb.com.
I am taking the Boilers as well, but I'm not going to say by 20 or more or anything like that. But I think they win by double digits.
You spent all that time talking about being confident with Purdue, Tanner.
Oh, I'm still confident they're going to win. I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous about them losing. It'll be interesting given that neither team plays any other additional games this week. Yeah. But here's what it is. Sunday, Indiana at Maryland.
Give me Maryland.
I'm taking Maryland as well.
Michigan. Yes, sir. I'm sure they thought that was going to be a lot better heading into the year.
Michigan at Ohio State.
That's also a CBS-er. Give me Ohio State in that one.
Yeah, I think Buckeyes get 2 this week. I'm taking Ohio State and Rutgers at Nebraska.
Give me Nebraska. They win both this week. They'll have 22 wins.
It's pretty impressive what Fred Hoiberg's done out there this year. I'm taking the Cornhuskers as well. Top 25. Let's see if we got any good ones. Tomorrow night, number 25 BYU at number 9 Kansas.
Give me Kansas. Kansas not losing at whatever their arena's called.
Fog Allen. Yeah, I'm taking Kansas as well. Looking for ranked against ranked matchups here. Wednesday night, number 14 Auburn at number 5 Tennessee.
Give me Tennessee.
I am taking the Volunteers as well. Number 20 South Carolina at Texas A&M. I know A&M's not ranked, but that's an interesting one.
Yeah, A&M is somehow still hanging on to a tourney bid, according to Joe Lenardi, as of Friday's last time I saw. South Carolina's kind of woken up a little bit. I still think they're pretty solid. Texas A&M needs to get this one done at home if they want to make the tourney. They have 5 quad 3 losses, but they have 6 quad 1 wins. So it's weird. It's an interesting resume. Give me Buzz Williams.
I'm taking Buzz and the Aggies as well. That'll make a friend of the podcast, Cameron Screeton, real happy when he listens to this. Number 13 Alabama at Ole Miss.
Alabama can score points, but they can give up points with the best of them. I think they get it done though on the road.
I'll take Chris Beard in the Rebels. Saturday, number 24, Florida. They're starting to play some good basketball at number 20, South Carolina.
Give me South Carolina at home.
I'll take the Gamecocks as well. Number 9, Kansas at number 11, Baylor.
Man, Baylor come off a tough overtime loss to Houston. Kansas has not played that well away from Fog Allen, it feels like. So give me Baylor in that one.
I'm taking the Bears as well. Number 7, Marquette at number 15, Creighton.
Creighton coming off a whooping over the weekend to St. John's.
St. John's and Rick Pitino's white suit.
Creighton is up and down, up and down. I mean, they blow out number 1 UConn, then get whooped by unranked St. John's. Give me Tyler Kolek and the boys there. Marquette gets it done.
I will take Creighton in this one. Here's my upset pick. I'm taking UCF at home over number 6, Iowa State.
Central Florida's, they've already upset Kansas. I think they have a few other ranked wins as well.
They're 14-12, but they seem to beat some ranked teams.
I like it.
Number 5, Tennessee at number 13, Alabama. That's where game day is going.
Man, two contrasting styles. Tennessee plays fantastic defense. Alabama likes to run and gun. I think good offense beats good defense every day of the week. Give me Alabama.
I will take Alabama at home. And I knew Purdue wasn't going to get game day, but it still irks me that since game day became a thing in 2005, Purdue's had it one time in 2011. It just irks me. I don't know. When a program like Notre Dame's had it like 4 times.
Game day was still a thing in college
basketball. They just won't. I don't think they'll go to Big Ten venues because of the ESPN Big Ten thing.
Yeah, they definitely probably won't now.
Well, Gonzaga at St. Mary's.
Gonzaga has to have it. Has to have it, and I don't think they get it. Give me St. Mary's, and I think Gonzaga really needs to win the WAC. WAC or WCC? WCC. Tournament.
I will take the Gales as well over the Zags. So, should be a fun week of college basketball.
Pick 6 time, as I said, a lot of court storming stuff, but I'm going to start this off with a baseball one, actually. Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger, yeah. Solid player for years. I was real intrigued if the Cubs didn't re-sign him where he might have ended up. I think he would end up in a team in the big markets, but I figured the Cubs would get a deal done with him all along. So good for both sides.
They had to, and honestly, I think the Cubs were kind of negotiating against themselves. I don't know if he had any other real suitors out there, unless they were going to jump in real late. But court storming as a whole.
All right, I'm all for college kids having their fun, and I always wanted to do a court storming in college, but we never would have, even if we would have upset some, because that's just a paint crew rule. We expect to win home games even when Purdue was awful.
It's also real tough at Mackey Arena.
Jumping down too. Yeah, that's real tough. I'm all for court storming being allowed, but there needs to be changes. Wait, I don't know how you police it. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. Wait till all the players are off the floor. Wait 10, 15 seconds till they're all off the floor, then go have your fun.
Yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter suggest put a 30-second countdown like on the shot clock.
Mm-hmm.
Once that hits 0, team can or fans can run on the court. You can even have, if you want the winning team, the home team out there with them, keep them out there.
Yes.
Get the road team off. That's exactly what the moment Justin Harmon missed that layup at Penn State, Underwood grabbed his guys and they got the heck out of there because they knew it was going to happen.
Which is hard to do. It's hard to do. But,
very hard to do.
Yeah.
Very hard to do. Kyle Filipowski.
He's Duke's golden boy right now. He's their main dude. So, I was watching the game live when it happened and I couldn't tell it was him, but my dad and I watched it and I was like, oh my gosh, somebody on Duke's like on the ground. They need to get him out. I thought he fell because you could just see him kind of disappear. And then, he's hobbling and they're helping him off and Shire's mad. Duke players and assistant coaches are yelling. I'm like, right there, I turned my dad. I'm like, that's going to make the change for everything.
Yep.
Because Duke, who is kind of the like him, love them, hate them, can't stand them, whatever. They're kind of the team that when you think college basketball, you think of Duke or one of the teams. And Filipowski being their main guy, I'm like, this is what needed to happen to make some changes. But I don't know if those changes are going to happen. Matt Painter's been harping on it since January. And it's not just for the players, for the fans too. If this keeps happening, a fan's going to get punched. one of these days. Then
For
there's
sure.
going to be lawsuits.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very thankful that Purdue's lone road game left at Illinois, and if Illinois beats Purdue, they're not going to rush the
Not a
court.
rush court.
So I have to, because my fear is like, what if 6 guys went after Zach Edey's legs or something?
Yeah.
I don't.
Exactly.
You just never know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy in football too, but we don't really see people get hurt too often in the football ones. I don't like what Jay Billis said though today about arresting people if they don't get off the court. I think that's a little too far, but something's got to be done.
Do you think, Philip? I mean, it's so hard for the players to say, well, the players just need to sprint off. Well, then you're running full speed at people who are running full speed.
Yeah, you don't want to hurt anybody else. You want to protect yourself. And I know he kind of lowered his shoulder, but I think he saw somebody coming at him. He was kind of trying to protect himself, and then he got trampled. It was a little different than Caitlin Clark's.
People were saying he tripped the guy on purpose. I think he was just trying to protect himself.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, because that would be scary.
Yeah, you can very clearly see the guy behind him try to push him anyway. So, yeah. My next one's actually Jay Billis because of his comments.
Well, Jay Billis is a guy I used to really like in college basketball, and every year I start not losing respect for him, but my likeness for him, I guess. I don't even know if that's proper grammar. It's starting to go down and down. I'm not as big of a Jay Billis fan as I used to be.
Yeah, as you said, his comments with they should just start arresting people. You're gonna arrest 20 to 22-year-olds who are having fun. That's your solution. Why don't you try something different first before you start just arresting people?
Jay was probably fun at college parties.
Yeah, well, yeah. I wonder if they rushed the court back in the 80s when he played. I'm sure they did.
I bet they did.
They definitely did in the NBA. I mean, I saw a video of the Celtics today where it was almost scary to see people that rushed onto the Boston Garden.
Yeah.
But yeah, his comments were dumb. The problem with his comments is he has such a huge voice in college basketball now.
He does.
But at the same time, the NCAA hates him because he's so opposed to the NCAA. So
he's a lawyer too.
And he's a lawyer, so he knows. Another guy who has said some dumb things today, in my opinion, Seth Davis, who I cannot stand to begin with, who's also a Duke guy.
I didn't see what Seth Davis said today. So
he said, I'm actually going to pull it up real quick so I don't misquote him. He said, I hope.
But I'm not a Seth Davis fan. Never really have been.
Yeah, I hope it's not too far back in his tweets that I can't find it. He said, it was really stupid. Let's see. How come we never see court storms at NBA games? Are those fans more measured, less enthusiastic? No, which is in my opinion, the funny part. It's because the NBA lets everyone know if you step on the court, you will leave the arena in handcuffs. It's really that easy.
No, I get that second part, but the first part's dumb. There's season ticket holders for NBA games, but I guarantee you they don't go to every single game, and they don't have rowdy students at games. That's really dumb.
I went to an NBA game and was bored out of my mind until the start of the fourth quarter. The atmosphere is terrible. You have guys spending thousands of bucks to sit courtside. You think they're going to run onto the court? And for one, the NBA and professional sports as a whole have priced the common man out of even going to games at this point.
Yep.
So yeah, now here's Seth's simple solutions, as he says. Leagues tell schools they'll be fined $500,000 if there's a court storm. Schools increase security and tell fans that if they step on the court, they will be arrested and permanently banned. 3, we can all go back to arguing whether Zach Edey is good or just tall.
No, something's got to. I'd be fine if they want to fine schools. They do that for football. People still do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something's got to be done. I think we will see some measures being taken place in the offseason.
I agree. And again, they need to have something.
Yeah.
Have something. Yeah.
Yep.
Last one here for the pick 6, Rick Pitino.
Oh, slick Rick. White suit. His Johnnies are starting to crawl themselves out of a hole. Big win against Creighton yesterday. I don't buy everybody spinning what he said and the motivational stuff. He called out each player individually by name. Awful. His team was so mad at him, the assistant coaches had to go talk to Rick about it, and Rick had to go address his team. I mean, I think he has a good relationship with his players and they respect him, but you can't tell me they weren't mad. That was not a tactic just for motivation. That was stupid. But he didn't. It just happened to work somehow.
Yeah, that was him venting out in
Yep.
public. And
Yep.
he's lucky his team didn't quit on him, honestly.
Yes, he is.
But yeah, he said this is the least enjoyable experience of his life.
And
Which
then
is
he
pretty
said
funny.
yesterday he's never had a closer group together as a team since Providence. So
Yeah, and then
it's like, all right, whatever.
Rick Pitino showing up to MSG dressed like John Gotti yesterday, and
Says he's gonna do it for every whiteout here forward. So,
of course.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Good list, J-Man. Good pick six list. That's the pick six segment brought to you by Performer Print 2 promo group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting in 2024, Performer Print 2 promo group has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs, so you need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574-210-3815. You want to be educated, J-Man?
Always need it.
Let's talk about some sporting events that have happened on February 26th. On this day, 1935, the New York Yankees released Babe Ruth. He would then go on to sign with the Boston Braves.
What a worthless pile of garbage.
On this day in 1967, can you tell me who won the 9th Daytona 500?
67. Richard Petty.
It was Mario Andretti. He won his first and only NASCAR Grand National event, the only time a driver born outside the U.S. has ever won the Great American Race.
Is Petty even a NASCAR guy, or is he an IndyCar?
Oh, Richard Petty's the greatest NASCAR driver of all time. Yeah.
Right.
Mario was an IndyCar guy. That's why it's surprising
right.
that he won a NASCAR event. Wow. On this day, 1981, 84 penalties, combined 406 minutes, were assessed for a brawl between Minnesota and Boston in the NHL.
They need to bring that type of brawling back, I tell you.
Oh, man.
Bare knuckles, blood all over the ice.
I'm pretty sure he got more points than this as his career went on. But on this day, 1987, Michael Jordan had 58 points in one game, which was a Chicago Bulls record. I'm pretty sure he scored over 60 eventually.
Yeah, 63 in a playoff game.
Okay.
For some reason, they don't count those towards the all-time. So, I don't know.
All right. On this day, 1989, Dallas Cowboys fired Coach Tom Landry after a 29-year career.
I can't believe they fired that guy. I'm surprised they didn't do what New England did this year with Belichick. Parting of ways.
Yep. On this day, 2006, the 20th Olympic Winter Games closed. Can you tell me where those games were at?
2006?
Yes, sir.
I should be able to because I was alive for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with somewhere in Switzerland.
Italy. Turin, Italy.
Italy and winter just doesn't seem to mix, in my opinion.
Doesn't. On this day, 2012, the 61st NBA All-Star Game was held in Orlando, Florida. The West beat the East 152-149. Who was the MVP?
2012, I'm going to go with Kobe Bean Bryant.
Good guess, Kevin Durant. Then the Oklahoma City Thunder. And on this day, 2017, who won the 59th Daytona 500?
Don't even have a guess for you.
Kurt Busch, now retired Kurt Busch, won after Kyle Larson ran out of gas on the last lap.
Oh, that's brutal.
And Jeffrey Earnhardt also made NASCAR history by becoming the first ever fourth-generation driver to compete in the Daytona 500.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. Yep. So that's going to do it for the On This Day segment, which is brought to you by, like it is every week, Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of Texas with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs that fit your needs, and their pieces are a great addition to any home, office, or a man cave. You can see some of their recently completed projects by visiting them at Mooney Woodcrafts on Instagram and on Facebook. And if you let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you, you get 15% off your first sign order. So no matter if you're a sports fan or not, Thad makes great wooden signs. Just get your sign order in. Tell them Tan J-Man Show sent you. Get 15% off. All right, J-Man, before we get to the birdie or bogey segment to wrap up this week's podcast, one more thing I want to get your opinion of, and that was EA Sports finally announced the return of their college football video game. It's going to be called, instead of NCAA football, which was what it was previously called back in 2013 when they released the latest installment. It was NCAA football 2014. It is just college football 25. How excited are you about
Pretty excited.
The return of the game?
I'm gonna have to get the newer generation console.
Right.
I've been stuck on my Xbox One since 2015, so
right,
8+ years now. Very excited. It was my favorite game growing up.
Mine too.
Got it every single summer, and I'm gonna have to shell out some cash for a new system in the game. It'll be interesting because by the time that game comes out, I will have a 7-month-old, so it'll be interesting whether I'm allowed to play that often. But I'm definitely gonna get it. I'm gonna do everything in my power to get it.
Should we get a Tan and J-Man Show GoFundMe page going for the J-Man to get this?
Let's do it. Actually, the GoFundMe should be for a babysitter, so I can actually.
There you go. Now we're thinking. Yes, I am looking forward to getting the game as well. I think we have a group of friends that are interested in playing, and we're hoping to maybe all join the same conference, maybe the MAC, and start a little dicey against each other and recruit against each other. That'd be kind of fun.
UMass is joining the MAC, by the way.
Oh boy, that might.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the Minutemen might be J-Man's team of choice?
Maybe not this year though. It's 2025. So
2025.
after I just saw that today,
okay.
But nothing a little Maction can't fix.
But it's interesting. Players and part of the NIL deal, if they want to be, they don't have to be in the game, but if they want to be in the game, they get $600 plus a free copy of the game. And as of this weekend, over half the players eligible to be in the game had already opted in. Which I think is awesome because some people are like, oh, $600 isn't enough for these players. It is for a majority of them. Majority of them don't care because they get to tell everybody, hey, I was in a video game.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd do it for the free copy.
Sorry, you cut off on my end there. What'd you say?
I'd honestly do it for the free copy.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's $65, $70 right there you save. So, I'm excited about it. I'm excited seeing the guys who are already opting in. It's going to be neat. Back in the day, I used to find creators out there who would make the rosters anyways with the names. Now you don't have to do that. So now we should be pretty darn sharp for a college football preview show thanks to the video game.
You'd think we would be. But,
you would think. But yeah. I also read somewhere now if a player opts out of the game, they're gonna. I don't know how that. I'm too dumb to figure this out. That's why I'm not an engineer or video game designer or anything. I guess they're gonna put something on there to where the average fan like you and me couldn't put that player in the game. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but
the computer nerds will figure it out.
Yeah. People that are a lot smarter than you and I will figure that out. Yeah. But I'm really excited about the game. I always thought it would come back, but when the NIL stuff happened, I'm like, that just makes it more difficult. I didn't know how they were going to do it, but they figured it out.
I now want to get greedy, and I want a college basketball game too, because I think
me too.
I'd play that even more.
I don't have a basketball game. I mean, you and I used to play NBA 2K a bunch. I probably haven't bought that in about 4 or 5 years. So
you're sick of losing to me on Friday nights.
Yeah, sometimes. sometimes. So, well, birdie or bogey question to refresh your memory. I'll bring up the exact thing. Who's the oldest rookie of the year winner still playing Major League Baseball? So the winner to win it the longest ago.
Okay.
Longest ago. I hope that helps.
Because I think the oldest guy that have won it that's still around is probably Jose Abreu because he came from Cuba.
So not the age of the player, I guess the duration of the year he won it.
Oh man, it's between two guys, Bryce Harper and Craig Kimbrell. I think Craig Kimbrell did it first.
You are getting a bogey because it was neither of those guys.
Really?
Yes. Justin Verlander in 2006.
Oh, man. I didn't even think Verlander. That's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. We're now tied at 2 over.
We're ripping it up like always.
Thanks for watching. I'm embarrassed. Have a great week, everybody.